Good stuff. Tap loves.
Mm-hmm.
And love.
What are you so up to? Nothing better to do?
No.
Shitting in your power necking?
Yeah.
You're wrong.
Hey man, to all the young folks out there, I want y'all to know, man, like stay in school, stay out of the streets. This ain't what you want, man. This, you feel me? I'm a youngin', man, in the game since I've been doing this since I was 12 years old, man. I ain't got nothing to show for it. 24 years old, ain't got nothing to show for it. You feel me?
Boy, we're talking over there. Boy, the fuck I do to you?
Boy.
With your eyes looking off close down. The fuck I do to you, you fucking one eye up? The fuck I do to you, dog?
What's flame?
They're going to get him. Watch out, watch out. Damn, I'm gonna hold your knife. A nigga say he gonna do me something, bro.
Boy, you ain't gotta hold this shit right here, my nigga, for real, dog. If a fucking nigga fuck with you, I'll kill that nigga right now, dog. Word, man.
At 41, in prison, there's a name whispered with fear, the Booty Bandit.
Get his ass, I'm hearing that shit. You know, his was just juicy, bro. I thought that motherfucker, I said, God damn, I want some of that motherfucker. You hear me? That motherfucker sound like that shit. So that moment he pulled that motherfucker. I said, God damn. He jumped off the bed. And I walked away, right? So about an hour later, I'm in my cell, so I heard some foot coming down the hall. I'm watching TV and shit. It was him. And his man, and some more motherfuckers. They said, hey, police, come on, man. I said, what's up, bro? They say, look, man, we ain't on that over here. We don't bother nobody. We don't matter nobody's business. You tipping down the hall trying to catch people. Hey, man, we don't... I thought that these motherfuckers, they kill us, too.
And if that story shows how violence can be used to steal someone's dignity, the next one reveals how prison can twist even love into survival. At 40, in women's prisons, there's a common phrase echoing the dorms.
Gay for the stay, straight at the gate. I learned the expression, gay for the stay, straight at the gate. Very big in the camp. A lot of girls are in there for a long time. So they see their husbands, you know, every 2 weeks of visitation. But in between, they have these gay relationships. And like a couple months in, I'm laying in bed one night. I'm on the top bunk. You know, 56 years old, I'm on the top bunk. And it was like a half a mile to go to the bathroom. You know, it was a giant dorm. All the girls on the top bunk could see each other, right? So I'm sleeping one night and I'm hearing, I'm like, oh, damn it. So I'm putting the pillow over my head and I'm hearing all this moaning. I'm like, it's like getting faster. I'm like, after like 15 minutes, I go, just come already, right? Well, 15 other girls started laughing on all the, because I wasn't the only one they were keeping awake. It went completely silent. I don't know where the girls were. I knew the general vicinity. It's dark, right? And then there was a couple of times I woke up during the night to pee. I had to walk. And I see 4 legs in the shower. So all the gay experiences were happening in between the counts. Because they knew when the counts were. In the camp, you can't touch other women.
And if that story shows how intimacy gets traded for comfort, the next one pulls back the curtain on how power gets traded for pain. At 39, COs in prison don't just wear a badge. Sometimes they abuse it.
We make the plan. Like, he's like, we're gonna do it in the laundry room on this day, whatever, and I'm like, okay. And we're boot campers, so we serve the trays, we do all the work, we are out of our cells a lot because we do the work for all the intake people. And I was out at 4 a.m. to do trays. It was like breakfast trays, and I do all the trays, and then the girl that was helping me, she goes back, and then me and him went down to the laundry room. There's no cameras. Oh, that's what he said, I didn't know. And I just like started shaking, like my whole body just like locked up on me. And like, I don't know if that's from like sobriety, you know, sober. So I just started like shaking, like I couldn't do it. I thought we were gonna get caught. Like I just didn't want to do it. So I ran back to my cell and just was like, I'm not gonna do this. Like, so what, right? Like, it's not that big of a deal. Well, he came back up there and was like, you're gonna finish what you started. And I'm like, okay. But then at that point, I felt like I really wanted to, like, I guess, like, make him happy. I don't know. Like, just get it over with type shit. Like, just do it, get it over with, and forget about it. So I did. I went back down there, and, like, we did it. And he, like, kissed me at the end and was like, good girl. And then I went back upstairs, and I reported it the next day. He did midnight shift, so like the next morning when I knew like he was not there, I reported it to the nurse. But I did it in like a hypothetical way. I was like, so what would happen if an officer had sex with an inmate? Like, what would happen? And then I guess like that comment, she was like, she sent me to IA and like made me tell them what happened.
And if that story exposes how authority can violate trust, the next one shows what happens when stupidity paints a target on your back. At 38, not every horror in prison is violence. Sometimes it's your dumbass that marks you as a target. Watch this, man.
If you ain't fucking with what the fuck are you doing?
One thing you don't want to be in prison is this guy. He's in prison on top of a table yelling to everyone that has a cell phone to give him a follow on TikTok. Yeah, there are hardly any convicts left in 2025. In prison, you got guys like this that be flamboyant, showing the prison guards all the game about what's going on in prison, going live from within bars, and you're showing them the hiding spots, whatever's going on, the stuff that they don't know about already. Back in the day, that would have got them took out just like that. People didn't play that. There's no such thing as dry snitching. You're either telling or you're not. And one thing about prison, you always got to keep a low profile. People don't make noise like that. Because when you make noise like this, there's going to be somebody that wants to test that shit out. Which means whoop your behind. Shit is so shameful. You got guys even walking around doing interviews thinking this shit is all a joke.
Sir, why are you locked up?
Never should. Never.
You want to know what prison's like in 2025? You just saw.
And while that guy risked everything for views, the next story uncovers what happens when humiliation becomes part of the sentence. At 37, inside female prisons, some traumas don't come from violence, they come from humiliation.
They make you, all of us women, these guards are standing on the wall, right? They're all standing on the wall. It tells us to turn around, spread them, bend over and cough. So you're turning around and you're spreading your naked vag and butt open, and they scream wider, and you pull wider, and they scream wider, and like you're literally about to rip your freaking cat wide open and split your butt crack open, because they want you to open up so far that they want to be able to see your freaking throat through your bottom, okay? And then they want you to cough. Like, oh my gosh, it's seriously like the worst traumatic, crazy, disgusting thing ever. And you know, there's just people walking through like it's a normal Tuesday, you know? It's just, dude, it's crazy. So then that's just intake. Then once you get into the prison, you get into your dorm, you're like the new fresh meat walking through, right? We're all walking through in a line, right? We've got our bag full of laundry, disgusting looking stuff. It all smells the same. They were like, everything smells like, it's disgusting. And we're all walking through, and from each side there's fences, and there's women coming up to the fences to see who the fresh meat is, and they're staring at you, and they're hanging on the fence, and the women are looking. These women have been in there for 20 and 30 years. Some of the women are never getting out. They don't care. They do not care. They don't care what you think. They don't care if they get in trouble. They don't care about nothing, because what do they got to lose? They're never going home anyways. So you're already on display. You have to walk the walk through these women. And so then when we get into the dorm, when I get into the dorm, I see this huge room, right? It's hot. There's no air conditioner, right? There's no air conditioner. There's no nice cool water fountain. You know, there's no Febreze. It's just a freaking brick warehouse, basically, that is hotter than a mug, with, as far as the eyes can see, rows and rows and rows of bunk beds of just mattresses on slabs, mattresses on slabs, mattresses on slabs. And I just remember sitting down and just like, there's nothing that you can do. There's nothing that you can say. You can't decide then, oh, you know what, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I changed my mind, I'm a changed person. You're there now, you're not getting out. Like, you are in prison. You are in there with rapists and murderers and baby killers and all kinds of stuff, you know, like, it's wild. It's a very wild, surreal experience. There's also a program in the prison called the YO program. It's the Youthful Offender Program. And I think that that's the right wording, but if I'm saying it wrong and somebody knows, let me know. It's been a while, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so the Youthful Offender Program. I just barely, I don't know how I didn't make it into it because I was only 21 years old. I was a little baby girl. And that program is for, like, I think 21 and younger, I believe. Let me know if I'm wrong, guys. But you have kids in there. I'm talking about kids. I'm talking about 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old kids that are in prison for the rest of their life for killing their parents.
And if you think that level of violation ends there, the next story proves how fear itself becomes a weapon. At 36, in prison, fear isn't just an emotion, it's the most valuable currency.
So I get this question asked a lot. How often did I witness rape in prison? And as somebody who has a family member that was raped before, I take this very serious. It doesn't matter if it's in the inside or outside, it's always a crime. Florida started something called PREA. Now, that stands for the Prison Rape Elimination Act. What that means is they'll put you in the cell with somebody like your height and your weight, so you have a fighting chance in case this happens. That's how rampant it is. Now, I don't know if you guys remember the story I told you about an inmate I did time with named Ricky Martin. Well, he was a confused young dude who gave the guards attitude. They ended up putting him in the cell with a notorious rapist, booty bandit, whatever you want to call it. Just a violent guy who's bigger, stronger, and the guy raped Ricky Martin and beat him to death. And it was like 3 or 4 months before the young guy went home. It's unbelievable, and it's just so hard to watch and bear. You just hear it and see it. It happens rampant in prison. And it might be a friendly way where they're getting so high with the guy, almost like how they drug people at nightclubs and bars. Like, always be careful, always watch your drinks. They do the same shit in prison. You know, they'll have a guy smoking tobacco and they drug it and they get him so fucked up that they end up taking, you know, they rape him. Or say a guy gets into debt for gambling and he can't pay the money back, say drugs or gambling, whatever debt it is. Dude walks in his cell with a knife and says, hey, you're gonna pay this debt 2 different ways. Either shows him the knife or the other way, which is rape. It's disgusting. Another way, and this is like the predator versus prey. They'll go straight up to a weaker inmate and pull a knife on them or slap him around. Usually a guy that's smaller, usually a guy that doesn't have any friends or rolls with anybody, and just straight take it from him. And next thing you know, the guy's turned out, going around the compound, you know, talking like a female, wearing his prison blues like a female. It's a sad thing to see. They call that getting turned out. And it forces people like myself to go, you literally have to go insane to remain sane, because you're hearing this, you're seeing this, and you literally just have to keep it moving. Because in prison, if you get in anybody else's business, they'll cut your throat, but they are not respected. And I've seen it to where, like for instance, the situation with Spawn. Spawn got put in a situation where a guy put a finger in his ass, and Spawn came back and stabbed the guy and damn near killed him. Spawn got almost 30 years for that whole event. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. Stay out, stay free. Us.
And if you think that's as dark as it gets, the next story tells how sometimes a single mistake makes you miserable. At 35, in prison, privacy doesn't exist. Even your body isn't yours anymore.
Y'all heard of the prison pocket, right? The way inmates smuggle contraband into the institution? Well, one day we're getting strip searched. We're naked, they tell us to bend at the waist, spread your butt cheeks, and cough. Well, we bend, we cough, and I hear one of the officers ask another officer, hey, come here, check this out. Now you got 2 officers, and they're looking with a flashlight at Buddy's, you know, and the other officer says to the other one, hey, do you see that? What am I looking at? His hairs are tucked. Oh yeah, they are tucked. Hey man, you need to cough. Cough more. Now I've never seen anything fall out like I said. And this guy's coughing. Well, whatever he had in there, I guess he didn't have it in there good enough. It came out a little bit. When this guy got out of confinement, he told us what it was. He had something in a glove, and the glove tied in a knot, like a balloon, right? Like you would tie a knot in a balloon. So when he was coughing really hard, the knot came out. Well, when that knot came out, the officer grabbed the knot, and pulled that thing right out of there. Never seen anything like it before in my life. Who would want to do something like that? Like that's what you signed up for? To put a flashlight on somebody's butthole and look for tucked hairs? Listen, y'all stay out of prison. If you like disturbing stuff like this, follow me.
And while strip searches reveal what people hide, the next story exposes what happens when evil wears a human face. At 34, some killers wear their madness like a mask. I'm talking about Richard Ramirez, by the way, the Night Stalker.
I remember talking to Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, and he would tell you stories, because we'd put him in the holding cage sometimes to hold him. He'd just kind of talk and BS with him. And he had no emotion to any of it. And it wasn't him, though, it was his friend. His close friend did all this stuff, not him. You know, he tells a story of his friend breaking into a house in San Francisco. And once he's in there, he realizes there's a large party going on and there's nothing, he can't do what he wants to do. So he's hiding in the closet because he can't get back across the hallway to go out the window he came in. And eventually, after about a couple hours, he got out and got out of the house. Well, the thing that trips me up a little bit about it is, to this day, there's a family in San Francisco who had Richard Ramirez, who's killed 14 people by then, hiding in their closet, and they have no idea. They have no idea to this day that he was in there. And I don't know why I think that's weird, but I think it's weird.
And if meeting a serial killer sends chills down your spine, the next story will show a pain and no scream can erase. At 33, some cells in prison never leave you. Not the screams, not the fights, but the crying.
During my 27 years, my saddest moment in prison, I remember this girl, she was doing time. She was a beautiful girl, and a lot of the dominant females, the little tomboy females, they was after her. And this girl would not break. She was not about that life, man. She would tell everybody, I love my husband, I'm not about that lifestyle, I'm not in it, I do not indulge in that, that's not my thing, that's not my desire. She said, I'm happily married with 2 kids. Her husband was coming to see her like every weekend. I think he stayed in Orlando, but he was coming to see her every weekend. And this girl, I mean, she was focused. When I say focused, she wasn't about that foolishness. Even the male officers was trying to talk to this girl. She wasn't about that life, bro. She was not on any of that. About 7 months into her time, one day she was coming from the visitation part. She was looking sad. She wasn't talking to nobody about what it was she was going through. She went, you know, everybody was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? She was like, nah, I'm okay, I'm okay. She said, I'm just worried about my children, just worried about my kids. You know, everybody was like, okay, we gonna respect her peace. We all in class and we chilling. And you know, she's sitting there and she filling out some papers or something she was doing. The officer came and got her. When the officer came and got her, I don't know where they took her, but I know they took her up front. I seen like a sheriff or somebody come to the gate, because you can see the gate. Sometimes when you getting served certain papers, they'll bring you to the gate. So the sheriff was talking to her at the gate and this and that and the other. Man, when the sheriff left, listen, that girl fell to her knees and she was crying, man. That girl had a cry I never heard before. She was like, no, what did I do? I don't deserve this. I was a good wife. I was a good mother. I don't deserve this. Man, this man had done.
And if you think emotional pain is the worst kind of suffering behind bars, the next story shows what power looks like when the wrong people have it. At 32, power in prison isn't about uniforms, it's about secrets.
So before working as a 911 operator, I was actually a corrections officer in a male's prison, all male's prison. And these are like 3 things that really shocked me as being an officer inside of a male's prison. Just a little bit of background, the unit that I was working in had all SOs, which are like offenders, you know, offenders. So the inmates there were not there for great things. They were really there for terrible things. And I looked a lot of them up, so I can tell you guys some stories about what they did while they're in there, or like that got them in there. Disgusting. So something that I've always said is that if victims knew how their perpetrator or their suspect is living in prison, they would be furious. So one of the things that really shocked me was like how they're living. They're living luxury in there. They're living so great in there. It's ridiculous. They have iPads. They have TVs. They are watching YouTube. They're making videos. They're making little TikToks. They are doing everything that you do on the outside, they're doing inside. They eat everything that we eat. Okay, yeah, food is kind of subjective, but like they go to their little shop where they can get their honey buns and snacks and sodas and all this other stuff. It's just like they're just living luxury there. And the weird thing about that is that people who like I know that murder is bad, but like murderers and like gang members and like dealers, that's the word, are living like in lockdown, like full shackles, like full cell bar, like they're living really like roughly. But offenders who did something to a 5-year-old is out just, you know, go watch their YouTube videos and sit in there and go and out and play and do all that. It's wild. Anyways, the second thing that shocked me there was that the men there, again, I'm on the inmates who have to register. The men there, they look normal. Majority, or some of them do, not majority of them, but some of them look normal. Specifically, there was this guy that I remember vividly in my head. He looked so normal, looked fine, like a conventionally attractive man that's walking around the society. And I was like, why is he here? I looked him up. He was caught with an insane amount of child porn. An insane amount. So much, I don't quote me, but I believe the Arizona state says that if every picture is 10 years and every video is 15, I looked him up. He has like 500 and something years. Like, he's gonna die in there. Like, 500 and something years. Imagine how much was on his computer. It was just crazy. So it's just insane that these men who are walking around in society, you never know who you're dating, who you're kissing, who you're hooking up with, who you're making friends with. You never know, because this man looked normal, and I'm still mad about it. The third thing that shocked me while working there is not necessarily about the inmates, but about about our safety, basically. So I am a woman, obviously, and I was in basically a dorm of about 200 male inmates by myself for at least 12 hours. And thank God I'm like holding down my own, and I really walk in there like I'm a bat, you know, because I am a baddie, and I walk in there and I held my own, and they came at me crazy, I came back at them crazy. Like I didn't show no fear in there. So I was really lucky that I had that. There's a lot of women who become COs and are in that predicament who don't have that, who become compromised, or who hurt in there, who can't stand their own, and they're in a building with, mind you, and I also worked overnights. The system really doesn't care about your officers, and I get that it's a shortage as well, but ain't no way a female officer should be in a male's prison inside of a building of 200 men at night for 12 hours. I'm just saying. Anyways, I have a lot more stories and a lot more things. If you guys want more, let me know. But I'm gonna start telling some more stories for 911 as well. So anyways, see you later.
And if you think the gods have it bad, the next story shows how even prisoners can create their own twisted kind of paradise. At 31, in prison, desire doesn't disappear, it mutates.
Now, I've seen like some of these TikToks about women, how they make the, what is it called? It's not a fupa, it's like the sex toy that, what are they called in prison?
It's still a strap.
But yeah, what's the prison name for it?
It's a strap.
It's called a strap?
Yeah.
No, I think I've seen some other terminology for it.
Well, I don't know the terminology other than a strap.
And how do they make those in prison?
Toothbrushes, pads, and saran wrap. If you can't find saran wrap, you use like a glove,
but the gloves break, and they're also made with like powder, and that's not good for your pH. So you just use saran wrap from the kitchen.
And how does this get assembled? What do they do?
You take the toothbrushes, you put them like bristles on the outside and then the stick part on the inside, because the bristles will hurt also if they hit you, but I guess it's a little bit less bad. You take the pads and you'll like put the pads on top of the toothbrush and just keep wrapping around for the circumference that you're looking for. You wet the pads for the softness and then you wrap it in saran wrap so that you don't get pad beads all in you. But I've seen some insane things that women use. Obviously, the jokes about like taking cucumbers and stuff from the kitchen, it doesn't happen as much as you think, because unfortunately everything gets pre-chopped before we get it. So bananas are probably the only thing you can put in you, and nobody's doing that.
Yeah, I would hope not.
No, nobody's doing that. I've seen girls get in trouble for putting hairbrushes in them though, which I think that's painful because the hairbrush is square on the bottom. So I don't know how they rounded that out.
And if you think that's twisted, the next story shows what happens when lust and dominance start sharing the same cell. At 30, inside women's prisons, power and desire collide in disturbing ways.
There's a lot of cheek busting going on up in the female prison. You know, you might work for what they call him?
The warden?
The warden. You know, work in the warden's office. They getting their tits.
Because these women, they know they're in prison. These dudes does not have no problems busting up in the women.
They have no problem. They getting that. And they got about 500 of choices to choose from. And these females in there, you know, they altering their clothes. So they clothes, you come in as baggy, but when they get finished with it, you got a whole bodysuit on. Yeah, so you walking around, you can see it all.
Oh.
The little monkey print, they make sure they nice. They doing their makeup, hair. I'm talking about you getting, when these females get up in the morning, they getting dressed. They ain't playing no games.
And is there a lot of, because I know in the camps they have, I heard, a lot of blind spots. Is there a lot of spots where people can get out of, like, you know, look out and all that? There's a lot of that going on now.
Oh yeah. Okay. You know, you get in the prison, you get to walk off, and it's your world. So there's no getting walked with guards and all of this shit. You just walk and do what you want to do. You go back there with the chaplain, in the office, close the door. I mean.
And if you thought that was dark, the next story shows what happens when temptation crosses every boundary left. At 29, sometimes the danger inside prisons isn't hidden behind cell doors. It's standing right in front of you.
Guys in there was losing their mind. That's why we don't want females work the Bing, because they have no respect for the females. Female walk down the tier. Everybody on the gate! Everybody on the gate! We got one! This girl got her ass like, patow! And you don't want her down here, because it's shake and bake all together. You don't want it, I'm telling you. You don't want it. And we tell her, listen, you don't have to work down the tier. We got you. No, I want to do it. We're like, oh God, we're gonna have a problem now. She goes down the tier. Now, once you go down the tier, you already know, Eon. Once the officers go down the tier, they got to take account. And they already announced, yo, we got one. She goes to take account, and she going, 01, 02, 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, and by the time she get to 6, she forgot her count. She all messed up. You know why? They all got their penis out like this. See, they got their dick out like that, their penis out like this. And she like, what's wrong with these guys? Everybody's on their bed with their dick out. Their penis.
And if you think that kind of humiliation only happens to guards, the next story shows how even separation between men and women can't stop what's already rotten inside those walls. At 28, some prisons house both men and women, but the walls between them don't always stop the desperation.
How attractive female inmates flirt with male inmates. And trust me, whatever you're thinking, it's more extreme and outlandish times 10. By the end of this video, you're gonna be saying, what the heck? Can this even be real? Whether you pass a line of girl inmates on your way to medical, or you get put into a cell block that's shared with women inmates but separated by a big metal door, you have an opportunity, at least in county jail, to communicate with women. And if you do get that opportunity and you're what they're looking for, they're going to do this. They're going to say, "Hey, baby, do you want a print?" And you'll probably say yes. And they'll say purple or red. And this means grape or cherry. Still confused? Stick with me. So what is a print? This means the girl is going to get a sheet of notebook paper and she's going to get a bag of Kool-Aid. Now on the commissary in jail, they sell either grape or cherry. So this is purple or red. And they'll take a scoop of that, put a little water with it, and they'll take this blank sheet of paper and they'll rub the Kool-Aid on there. You know where I'm getting at. And once they rub it on there, they'll take that piece of paper and they'll stamp it. Purple or red, whatever you choose. And once they've stamped that on there, so you can have a visual and you can sniff it and smell either grape or cherry, whichever your preference is. They really love that because they know what you're gonna do with that dirty piece of paper later that night when it's lockdown time.
And while that story shows how isolation can twist human desire, the next one shows what happens when corruption infects the system meant to keep people safe. At 27, Florida's biggest women's prison was supposed to be a place for rehabilitation, but behind those gates, it turned into a nightmare.
And prison was prison. I was at Lowell, which is the largest women's prison in the country, at least state facilities and population-wise, and it is the most notorious for sex crimes against inmates from staff. So.
This is in Florida?
In Ocala?
Yeah.
We actually did a mini documentary with the Miami Herald. Her name was Julie Brown. She actually covered the Epstein case as well. There's like 13 of us that got together and did this thing, and then we sued like later after we were released and stuff. But I did my whole time on that compound. I had a mix of jobs. I had some privileged jobs, like I was a library attendant, I was the VP orderly, and then I was the admin orderly. And I worked inside grounds, I worked the kitchen, I was a dorm worker. I literally did almost every job on that facility. I made some really good friends in there. I had a couple fights. I learned a lot about human nature and about mental health issues that I had not learned before because of the exposure. I also learned how poverty and segregation from a social and economic standpoint affects people and how they end up in there.
What was rehabilitation like, and do you feel like the state provided you with enough rehabilitation that you needed?
We didn't get any rehabilitation. Dude, you couldn't get pads in there. Like, you couldn't get... the first night, I puked all over my bunk because I woke up withdrawing, and they told me that they couldn't do anything for me. I couldn't get a new bedroll. Like, I didn't have a bra when I came in. Like, it was just ridiculous. And then what sucked was, after a while, I realized that in order to get anything done, you had to go various different connections. And you had to be pretty to really make anything happen on that compound through the staff, most of the staff, which is predominantly male. You have like 85-90% male officers around a bunch of women, and the culture of that facility was just not, like, in order to rehabilitate that facility, you'd have to shake it around, move every inmate and move every officer and bring them in from all over and totally restructure the way that they organize that facility.
And if that kind of corruption makes your stomach turn, the next story shows how justice inside prison isn't decided by courts, but by power and paperwork. At 26, in prison, your paperwork decides your fate, and one wrong line can seal it.
So basically, this young dude come in there, right? Young black dude. So when he come in there, he just looked like he was real nervous. Now, I get it. When you new in prison and you never been to prison, it will be a culture shock or whatever. But this dude looking really nervous, okay? Like really, that's out of the ordinary nervous, right? So
when he go to his cell, I see this dude that they call Bo. Bo is somebody that you would call a booty bandit. He goes into his cell, right? So in prison, you mind your business unless you want to make something your business. So I was curious, like, why is Bo going to his cell, right? So I go over there because I don't condone that type of behavior, especially in my pod that I'm running. So I go to the door, and the way it was looking, like Bo was standing in front of dude, and dude was sitting on the bed. And then I said, yo, what's going on up in here? And Bo hurried up and looked at me like he was shook for a minute. And he was like, nothing, Dante, nothing. I said, well, hey, what's going on? He was like, you know what? To be honest with you, dude got bad paperwork, and I just came in here to holler at him. So I said, what you mean he got bad paperwork? He was like, he got bad paperwork, and I just came in here to holler at him. You know what I mean? I knew exactly what he meant. So I had to do my due diligence. So I said, let me see his paperwork. So I go through it, and I see what he did. He touched a very small person in his family, right? So after that, it was a green light. So I turned right back around and walked off and mind my business. Now, you can only imagine what happened in that cell. I just told y'all dude was standing in front of him, right? So I'm gonna leave it at that. My point is this: for all you freaked out dudes out there, I don't care if you 14, 15, 16, 25, 30 years old. There is a guy named Bo, Sweet Low, Fleece Johnson, and other cats in there that can't wait for you to come in there so they can get a taste of you. And with that, y'all, I'm out.
And if that kind of street justice feels brutal, the next story shows how a single rumor can end a life before truth even gets a chance to breathe. At 25, in prison, one word can get you killed: snitch.
There was a dude that supposedly had snitched on somebody from my gang who was at another institution, and he was on site. I happened to be the first one that saw him. I just took flight on him. On site, when you're in prison, on site means that it doesn't matter if you're standing in front of the captain and 50 guards. You see him, you serve him. You gotta go after him. Dude was on site. I took flight on him. We both got, he fought back, so it was a mutual combat. So we both got 4 months in the hole. And we did our whole time. It was 120 days in the hole. And when they release you, there's like a row of little closets that you change from your green jumpsuit back into your regular mainline clothes. In mainline in Oregon, you wear jeans, a white t-shirt, and they have these blue button-up shirts. And they bring you your property box. So I'm sitting here, I'm looking at my TV, I'm looking at my soups. They starve you out in the hole. It's terrible. And
best weight loss program.
It absolutely can be, but it's pretty miserable. So I'm staring at all this stuff and I'm like, yes. And they open up the door and I walk out and I look over and this motherfucker's right there. And I just went after him again.
So you're back in the hole.
Yeah, it was right in front of 3 COs and he didn't fight back at all. So he didn't go back to the hole. I got a unilateral, which was a 180. So I did 4 and then I went back for another 6, back to back.
Almost a year in solitary.
It was super trash, bro. It was not my best moment. It was a bad decision. I got out of the hole and my homeboys told me, hey, that dude, by the way, he didn't snitch on our homeboy. Our homeboy snitched on him and he was trying to clean it up. But don't worry, we had the homeboy who was a snitch and lied. We had him stabbed up. He's in PC now.
And what comes next at 24 shows how even time itself bends when your whole world is trapped behind bars. At 24, imagine living a decade behind bars, and the things that once shocked you now just feel normal.
Random things I had to get used to while doing 10 years in prison. Number 1 is showering with strangers. I was very prude. I was not the type of friend to get naked in a room when we getting dressed to go somewhere. I'm gonna go in the bathroom and hide while I'm taking off my clothes. You don't have that option in prison. There's 4 shower heads on one side, there's 4 shower heads on the other side, and there's a big curtain. Your only option is to either shower with people that you do not know or not shower at all. Eventually, you get used to showering with strangers whether you like it or not. The second thing is eating breakfast at 5 o'clock in the morning. Prison days start very early, so if you want to eat, you're going to get up and you're going to be ready for breakfast at 5 o'clock. There's a random time they call dorms in a random order, so there's no given time to know when they're going to call your dorm for y'all to eat. So you just have to be up and ready at 5 o'clock because they could call you at 5:15 or they could call you at 6:30 because the chow hall is running behind. You just got to be up and ready. The third thing is carrying toilet paper everywhere I go. Toilet paper is such a hot commodity in Department of Corrections. You get 3 rolls a week. You have to take that roll of tissue to the bathroom with you when you use the bathroom because there's no complimentary roll just sitting there for you to use. You have to grab your tissue and take it to the bathroom with you, and then when you leave, you better make sure you grab that roll because if somebody come behind you and catch you slipping, they're not giving it back. And when you run out of toilet paper, you're gonna have to beg the officers for toilet paper or you're gonna have to buy it yourself. The fourth thing is there are lines everywhere for everything. You have to pretty much learn what the system is for every dorm that you go into because sometimes they have a sheet that is up on the wall and it has all the times of that day or the phone times, of course, in 15-minute segments, and you go up there and you write your name by, oh, I want to get on the phone at 3:30. I want to get on the phone at 6 o'clock. You have to get on that list, and in other dorms there is no list. There's an imaginary line, and you have to find the end of that imaginary line. You have to get in that line, and then you have to make sure that the person that you're behind, you have to watch them like a hawk because people will jump you in the line. I've had to hang up a phone call on a girl mid-conversation because she tried me. Lines is serious in prison. You want to go to the store, you want to get on the phone, you want to get in the shower, you're going to get in the line. And the last thing is watching Law and Order. You're going to get used to watching Law and Order or any police show in the Department of Corrections. For whatever reason, them people like to watch shows about people getting arrested. I never understood. But you're going to have to fight them to change that channel. So you just either going to sit down and watch every single episode of Law and Order, whether you've seen it or not, or you're going to fight them about it, or you're just going to choose something else to do and not watch TV. Let me know if you guys want any more.
And if daily prison life looks miserable, the next story proves how fast fear can turn into horror when violence finds you in the most vulnerable place possible. At 23, what happens when a simple argument in the shower turns into your worst nightmare?
I start hearing like footsteps and this group of dudes walk in the shower, butt ass naked. I'm like, bro, are you fucking kidding me? I'm sitting here like, I was like, damn, something bad's about to happen. And it did. One of the kids started fucking arguing with me about something. Another kid was arguing. Flash before my eyes, I got fucking suckered right in the back of the head. And now I'm on the ground in the shower. So first of all, I was freaking out because I didn't want to catch something. I'm naked. And there's a group of fucking good-sized dudes in the shower with me that weren't white. I'll just say that. And my worst nightmare came true. They beat the shit out of me, and one of them was like, yo, let's fucking rape him. So I'm like, fuck, bro. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So now I hear it, and I'm like triggered from like shit. Because at this point in time, like I'm in and out of jail, so I have mad time to be thinking about stuff. So I'm thinking about my childhood and like how to deal with it, talking to the therapist in jail and shit. So I start freaking out in my head and like I tense my whole body up. Didn't happen. Came very close to it. Like dude was like literally almost inside of me.
And if you thought that was disturbing, the next story will show you how even something as innocent as a candy bar can decide your fate. At 22, what happens when you come back to your cell and find candy waiting on your pillow?
What to do if you walk back to your prison cell and find a candy bar on your pillow? When I first got locked up, they used to make us watch a PREA orientation video. And in this video, it illustrated what would happen if you walked back to your cell, found a baby Ruth on your pillow, and decided to eat it. And act naive as if it just popped out of thin air. Now, I don't know about you, but I didn't need a video to tell me if I walked back to my cell, found a candy bar on my pillow, not to eat it, because I'm not going to touch or eat anything that I did not buy from commissary if I was in that situation. I'm just not that green. But unfortunately, there are some people, or were some people, and probably a large percentage of people that found themselves in bad situations because they ate the candy bar, so to say. And while most of us were laughing while watching the video in orientation, I must bring light to the fact that there are men in the system that do get victimized. In my opinion, it does not happen often. I heard that it did way back in the day, but it did happen. I remember on 2 separate institutions that I was on, there were 2 separate incidences where 2 separate men were victimized. All I can say is monsters do exist. And, some people don't need to come home. Prisons probably should be around, but there's so many people that don't deserve to be in there at the same time. And overall, if you're watching my content, stay free.
And if manipulation can start with candy, a 5-gram bar of Snickers, wait till you see what happens when inmates become currency themselves. At 21, in prison, there's one type of inmate everyone hates, the chomo, period.
So you guys aren't violent towards bad paperwork like other gangs are. You'd rather make the money off of it.
Everybody, if you're Mexican and you're from one of our 4 cities, we're checking your paperwork. You're coming in, we're gonna look it up either on the JAG. We're gonna look all your paperwork up and see if you're chomo. We do not accept that. We make them pay to stay. That's on some units or they catch out. It just depends, but we don't believe in extortion. We rather make them catch out. So I'm gonna give you a scenario. Let's say a chomo comes in. Homeboy says, I'm gonna make him my chava. A chava is like their bitch in there. He's gonna wash his boxers, he's gonna pay commissary. Okay, that's what you wanna do. You take that as your own self, as an individual. Because let's say someone starts fucking with him and he's a hoe and he's a chava, so everybody wants to bully him, and now you gotta fight for him. We're all gonna fight behind you because you're my homeboy. But after we go ride because you wanted to have a fucking chava, we're gonna whoop your bitch ass too, because we don't believe in that. You crashed out good homeboys because you want to have a hoe ass motherfucker under you. We don't accept that. That's the difference. Like, he did that as a man. He didn't do that as a member of Tango Blast, because we don't accept that. And that's how it is.
And if that sounds cold, the next story shows how even loyalty and love get twisted into games of survival. At 20, how to find if your man has been turned out in prison.
Having a boyfriend or pound puppy in prison, this is how you know that your man is guilty. If your man says it doesn't happen at the prison where he's at, he's guilty. If your man is asking for $10, $20 cash apps all the time, he's probably doing that K2, and he's guilty. If your man has gone in and out of prison multiple times, he's probably guilty. If your man tells you how much he loves his homies and he'll do anything for them, chances are he's guilty. If your man brags about how he lost all of his good time and says it's cool, he's guilty. If your man gets out of prison while being intimate, wants to go in through the back door, he's guilty. If your man says this video is a lie and I'm just a hater, he's guilty. The fact is, it happens at every prison, at every level of security, whether it be high security, minimum security, protective custody, or general population. And no, it's not allowed between us inmates, but it happens everywhere, all the time, behind closed doors, and that's a fact.
And if that sounded disturbingly interesting, the next story shows how desperation inside can turn letters into lies and love into manipulation. At 19, if you have ever received a letter from some female inmates, chances are she's looking for a sugar daddy.
So in a female prison, so say it's like myself and Sarah, okay? So say I have a sugar daddy, a pen pal. Girls will get put on these sites by their friends, by their family members, by somebody on the outs. And when they get put on this site, they'll write, they'll buy letters, they'll pay people for letters, they'll fish, they'll throw letters, hundreds of letters out there until they get somebody to bite. When they get somebody to bite, they try to, there's like a whole process, there's a grooming process. They never want money, they never want you for anything, but eventually they're gonna fall in love with you, you're gonna fall in love with them, you're the greatest thing that happened. They're gonna, make sure you're connected with their family. They're gonna have their mom and their kid calling you so you feel like you're really in there. They're gonna make it seem like every day on the phone talking to you is like the only thing that is the most important part of the day and the only reason that they live. They're gonna make sure you know that they don't have any financial support, and then all of a sudden, one day they're gonna have an emergency, and it's gonna be a little one like, hey, oh my God, someone stole my shoes. Can you send me $100? I have to buy some shoes, off the compound. And then you're probably gonna do it because you love her and you want to save the day. She doesn't have any other support, and she's stroked your ego, love bombed you, and sucked you in major. So when that happens, then it's just going to be another emergency, and then it's just going to be like, well, you need things every week. You need hygiene. Everybody needs hygiene.
And if that story shows how survival turns affection into business, the next one shows how survival can also mean becoming someone entirely new. At 18, in prison, Some transformations aren't about redemption, they're about identity.
I'm transgender, and while I was in men's prison, the prison paid for me to have gender affirming surgeries. I was in men's prison for 5 years. During that 5 years, the prison paid for me to have facial feminization surgery, a vaginoplasty, also known as bottom surgery, breast augmentation, a tracheal shave, and voice feminization surgery. Unfortunately, I was released right before I was able to get my BBL. Grab your iced coffee, sit the fuck down, and let's talk about Donald Trump and how he is not lying about transgender inmates receiving transgender surgeries. For everybody that's new here, my name is Casey. I'm 29 years old and I'm a trans woman that was in men's prison in Ohio for 5 years. Everything that I just said is not true. Donald Trump wants you to believe that transgender inmates are receiving transgender surgeries, as he calls them, on the prison's dime, the government's dime, the state's dime. I'm here to tell you that's not true. Have I had gender affirming surgeries? Obviously I have. Did I receive them while I was in prison? No. Does any inmate receive gender affirming care while they're in prison? No. They may receive hormones if they were already taking them prior to going to prison, but that is the extent of the care that they're going to receive. They're not getting any kind of surgeries. The prison is not paying for them to have breast augmentation. They're not paying for them to have bottom surgery, BBLs, facial feminization surgery, tracheal shaves, or voice feminization. It's not happening. I promise you, it's not happening. Did my insurance cover a portion of surgeries that I've had? Yes, it did. For example, after I had my breast augmentation, I received a final breakdown of the bill. The total for my breast augmentation was $43,000. Insurance paid a very hefty sum of that, but I still paid thousands of dollars for my surgery. I have any gender affirming healthcare prior to going to prison? Yes, I did. Was I able to continue that in prison? No, I wasn't. Did I get out of prison, change my life, and work extremely hard to have surgeries that I wanted and to present on the outside how I felt on the inside? I did, and a lot of inmates do that. A lot of people get out of prison and they change their life around and they're able to obtain these surgeries that they've dreamed of for years and years and years, but nobody's receiving them in prison. That is simply a lie. It's no secret that after I got out of prison, I worked in politics. I worked for the Ohio Democratic Party, and the primary focus of my job was to share information about Democratic candidates on that ticket, to interact with the candidates, to interact with the public, but most importantly, to get people out to vote. Did I hope that people would vote Democrat? Of course I did. But my primary objective was just to teach people how important their vote was, because there's this huge misconception, especially amongst young people, that their vote doesn't matter, that one person cannot change the trajectory of an election. And that simply is not true. Your vote is important. So no matter who you're voting for, you need to make sure that you vote. To say that Donald Trump is spreading a lot of misinformation about immigrants, about illegal immigrants, about women, and about trans people. These groups of people seem to be the target of his hate and his hate speech. I want to urge you, if you love a queer person, if you know a queer person and you care about them, if you love an immigrant or you know an immigrant and you care about them, if you love a woman or you know a woman and you care about them, if your mother is a woman, if your sister is a woman, if you have a queer cousin that you love or a queer friend that you love, or if you are married to an immigrant or you have a friend that's an immigrant and you love them, or you love a person of color, you have a best friend that is a person of color, I urge you to really think about who you are casting your vote for. Please fact check things. If you are considering voting for this man, I strongly encourage you to please fact check the things that he's saying. I just felt moved as a trans person who was in prison to be the fact check on this surgery debacle. I love you so much, besties.
And if that story shows how identity can become a battlefield, the next one shows how revenge turns that battlefield into blood. At 17, some revenge stories aren't born from hate, they're born from pain and never healed.
I just said it's time to confront this piece of garbage. I tell my friend, and we're in his van driving to the guy's house. This guy had since retired from the sheriff's department, but he was still the firearms instructor for our county and for the county next to it, Morris County. So the guy was a complete gun nut. And I told my friend that, and I'm like, take a steak knife with you. So I handed him a steak knife, and I went to my bedroom. As a Christmas gift one year, this guy gave me a knife sharpening stone kit, oil stone kit, and he taught me how to sharpen my Boy Scout knife on that stone kit. And I kept that Boy Scout knife always perfectly sharpened, and it was under my bed. And I grabbed it, and out the door we went. Got out, ran up. Front door was open, screen door was shut, and there he is sitting there watching TV in his living room. And it was like looking at the devil sitting in his lair. And I feel that like rigor mortis coming on me. And before it does, I march up to his front door. I rip open that screen door. I break it off the hinge. Here's a childhood victim of his, rape victim of his, standing in his doorway who just broke his door off the hinge. You would think this guy would have dropped to his knees in the prayer position and been like, Clark, forgive me for what I did. I know what I did was horrible. I know I'm sick. I need help. Forgive me. Let's sit and talk. I know I wronged you. Anything like that. Instead, this idiot, over his shoulder, looks over at me, puts his arm up, goes, hey, how are you? And I go, how am I? Let me show you how the F I am. And I marched across his room. He stood up, and we just started going at it. I started slashing at him with the knife. He started punching me, and we're in a life or death fight right now. And at one point, he squarely connects with a shot to my jaw, and I started to go down, and I grabbed his shirt with my left hand to keep myself from falling down, and I screamed, you MFer. And I brought the knife down, and I missed him. I put the knife right through my fist and stuck it into him that way, like went straight through. And we continued on fighting. At some point, he slipped in both of our bloods. I'm gushing blood out of this wound. He's gushing blood. And he's sort of like up against a wall when he slipped down. I turned to my friend. My friend was like wide-eyed in the doorway. And I wanted to be alone with this guy. And I turned to my friend. I go bring your van up here. And he left. And I looked my abuser right in the eye. And I said, it's not so fun raping little boys now, is it? And I slit his throat.
And if that story shows how revenge can consume a man's soul, the next one shows how guilt can haunt him long after the violence is done. At 16, sometimes the story doesn't end when the gates open. It just starts a new kind of chaos.
My baby finally home, y'all. Now, I told y'all he was gonna make it home. Yeah, look at him. He already done took his shirt off in the car. He already getting comfortable. But yes, we finna show him his new room. Go, 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 go.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes, what do you think? Yes. Come on, get in. I'm making a video.
Yeah.
Yes. He's home in his bed, y'all. We're finally living our dream. I told y'all.
Facts.
I told y'all. You know, are you excited?
Let a real nigga up out that box, man.
Yes. Are you excited?
Hell yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, we finna try new things and shit, y'all.
Yes.
I was thinking about that poly shit, really.
Poly?
Yeah. Like, you know, like 2 women, 1 man.
What are you talking about?
I mean, look, it's just, I don't really trust females like that, so I figured if she your friend.
Hold on, wait a minute. Stop the fucking video. You never said nothing in them letters about you liking no poly.
Because I already knew you was going to have an attitude about it.
So you going to wait till you come all the way home to
I mean,
are you serious?
You got all this shit
you want me to share? You finally come home?
I mean, we ain't insecure about shit. We ain't insecure about shit.
But that's not the point. You just got here 20 minutes ago, and you're talking about you want a poly. Forget this.
And if that story shows how freedom can break just as fast as it's earned, the next one shows how prison rules never really leave you. At 15, in prison there's one rule everyone knows. You don't touch kids, and you don't talk to the ones who did.
I was checking them. Like, I might pull them up, bring them into the cube or something. Yo, don't do that again. I'm gonna smack the shit out you. I used to do that. Everybody, I'm gonna keep it real with you. In the low, they were scared to death of me. I'm gonna keep it real with you.
I'd be scared of you.
Anybody that's been over there know, like, yo, I used to take my shirt off. I got gang tats everywhere on my body. They like, man, leave him alone, man. Yo, shh. Yo, get the fuck about that seat. What the fuck you even sitting in the TV room for? I had the chomos all the way in the back with no chair. They was sitting on they had the little, like, stools in Allenwood. Yo, bring that shit out your cube and sit back there, nigga. You ain't sitting in front of it. You gotta squint. I want you to squint. You ain't be comfortable up in here after you touch your motherfucking granddaughter or some shit. Fuck out of here. That shit used to be fun. That was my bed beating them up. I ain't gonna lie, just slapping them in the back of the head. Yo, what's up with you, Larry? What's up? Smack him. Yo, come on, let me go to your cell. What you got? You went to commissary? And I ain't fucked up where I gotta take your shit. I'm just doing it because of your case. Like, they had this one guy, he was in there, he looked like Joe Dirt, right? I think he's from, like, either PA or West Virginia or somewhere in that area or whatever. All his shit was missing. He had a long, stupid shit. So I asked him when he had 20 years. I was like, yo, what you in jail for? He's like, I don't want to talk about it. So when they start doing that, you already know what's coming. I don't want to talk about my case, man. And, bro, what the fuck is you in jail? Yo, get out the cell right quick. I told the bunkie, get out the room right quick. I'm like, what you in jail for? So he like, I'm embarrassed about it. I got 20 years for it. He touched his motherfucking 3-year-old granddaughter. I slapped the shit out of him and choked him out on the bottom bunk. Went in his locker, took wild mackerels. I had a net bag, start taking shit out of shit.
And if that story shows how inmates deliver their own kind of justice, the next one shows how even innocence gets traded in silence. At 14, a young woman inside tells what it felt like when the officers made her go through a full security check. She says she never forgot that moment.
What was my first strip search like in prison? It sucked very bad. And it was the first of many to come because I spent 10 years in prison, okay? I've been out a few years, and I'm gonna tell you guys about that first time because, whoo, baby, it was like, see ya, I'm checking out. Strip searches are a part of everyday life in prison. You better get used to them. You can't be shy and you can't act funny because if you do, they're going to think you're trying to hide something and they're going to F with you even more. So you kind of just got to find a way to either mentally check out or just thug your way through it because they're not going anywhere. It's always going to suck, for the record. So listen, they don't give you any time to acclimate or even get this idea of dropping it like it's hot and busting it wide open. They throw you right off the bus and straight into a search. So we're off the bus, we're sitting on a steel bench. They start uncuffing and unshackling all of us, and they start taking us in small groups where we're gonna go to the shower area and get hosed down like dogs because they wanna make sure that we don't have lice. There will be a group of between 3 and 6 of us that will be called into this little area where there will be anywhere between 2 and 4 female officers, okay? You will be standing in front of them. They will be standing in front of you, and they will proceed to tell you to take every stitch of clothing that you have on off and drop it in front of you. They don't give any directions past that. They just tell you to take everything off. And so, of course, you're hella uncomfortable because you proceed to take everything off. You drop it in a pile in front of you. And it's just kind of natural to want to kind of cover up, but you can't because they want to see what you have going on. Now, at this point, there's nothing happening and it feels like 30 minutes are going by, but it's probably only been a minute or so when they send an inmate with a big garbage bag, just a big plastic garbage bag in that's collecting all the clothes that you guys just took off and putting them in a bag. So now it's even getting hella weirder, okay? So as this inmate is moving along, collecting everybody's clothes, we're all still standing there. And now the pile that was in front of us, which only covered our toenails, it still made us feel a little bit covered. It's gone. That pile's gone. So we're waiting for further instruction. Each one of these officers, they're going to start going one by one, right? So if you're not the first one that gets seen or there's not an officer directly in front of you, then you just have to wait your turn standing there in all your glory, honey. That's just what it is. So they go one by one. They get to you and they'll say, open your mouth. They have gloves on. They'll slide their gloved finger all around your gums like this. They'll slide right here on your cheeks. They'll slide under your tongue. They'll look behind your ears. They'll look in your ears. They'll make you lift up the breast assist. They'll look in every crease, crevice, fold, everything you got. They want it up. They want to see in it. They will make you lift your feet up and look between your toes. They'll look between your fingers. They'll make you take your hair down. If it's up, they'll make you shake it out. They're looking everywhere. There's not a nook or cranny that they're not looking in. And then comes the god-awful squat and cough. Okay. Get ready. So this entire time, you're facing them. But now they're going to tell you to turn around and face the showers. So you turn around and you face the showers, and they tell you that you're going to do 2 separate kinds of squat and coughs. I didn't even know there was 2 kinds. Like, this is insane. But okay, let's do it. So they say, grab your thighs with your hands and bend at the waist. Do not bend your knees at all. Bend directly at your waist, okay? So you bend at your waist and you bend over. So now you're like this at a 90-degree angle, okay? Now that you're completely at a 90-degree angle, you are told to dun dun dun, grab the cheekaroos. Grab the cheekaroos and spread them like a curtain. Like they want to see your flower pucker. And these are exact words that I heard come out of an officer's mouth, okay? She said, I want to see that flower pucker, girl. I didn't know what the hell she was talking about. I mean, is the flower the front entrance or the back entrance? I don't know. But she wanted to see something pucker. So I started coughing and I started coughing. And then I found out later on that the flower was the back entrance. And when you cough, it flexes. So yeah, she wanted to see a little flexation happening with the back entrance. And you know, hey, whatever. I mean, I coughed hard. I guess she saw what she needed to see from that angle. You know, she could see whatever it was she needed to see. And now we're going to move on to the second squat and cough, which is completely different than the first. So at this point, she says, okay, cool. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to bend your knees and squat all the way down to the ground. So you guys just imagine, do not bend at the waist. Do not do anything with your torso. Bend your knees and go all the way down as far as you can, kind of like if you were trying to squat and pee outside or something, right? So once you get down there, they do the same thing. 3 hearty coughs. And they better be hearty, because the thought is that if they're hearty enough, now if there's anything up in the front entrance, it will just fall out, which, by the way, guys, is absolutely insane. I don't know who made these up. Maybe it was a guy, because biologically speaking, your anatomy as a woman is not going to allow unless you are loose, as I'm talking about, like, hello, like an airplane kind of loose, like that big. Nothing's falling out from you coughing and just squatting. But okay, I mean, I guess if you did it enough times, maybe something would peek out. But I mean, people have Kegel muscles. They might be strong. The walls might be, you know, I don't know. Whole bunch of factors here that we're not going to get into. But I will tell you this. A lot of things never fell out of people, and they were up in there. So anyways, I did what she said. I was completely mortified. One of the worst parts is that women who are on their cycle are just dropping clots, okay? I'm sorry to be vulgar. I'm really sorry. But they are. They're dropping balls of jelly out of them, okay? It's just not sanitary. It's not good. It doesn't smell good. There are women who are coughing so hard, they're farting. It is stank. There is a green cloud surrounding us. It is stank. There are people farting. There are people queefing. There are people that are literally coughing so hard that they're having little sprinkles of pee coming out, little urination showers coming out. Okay? A lot of things are going on. The lady down the way, she's 70 years old. The other one down here, she's trying to twerk. I mean, it's a whole hot mess. It's stank, it's wet, it's slippery, and I'm ready to get the hell out of there. I'm not even uncomfortable anymore because there's so much going on that I can't even focus on the fact that I'm butt booty naked in front of this lady. It is craziness. Anywho, guys, that's how the first strip search went. It sucked big, huge ones. It was horrible. It was so dehumanizing. It was so humiliating. And then every other factor involved just made it that much worse. It was just like additional cherries on top all the way around, okay? And the fact that it happened right when you get off the bus and you have no time to like adjust your mind to this, it's crazy. But you have to get used to it, because even though that one's the worst, it will quite literally continue to be like that every single time moving forward that you have a strip search. And they happen very frequently. So, hey, you got to do what you got to do, man. Check me out if you guys enjoyed this video. Please follow for more. This is a new channel, and I would really appreciate the support and encouragement. It's a free way for you guys to support. Leave me a heart if you liked it, and leave me a comment if you're curious about something else, and I will be more than happy to make more videos and answer, okay? I love you guys. Thank you for being here, and I will catch you on the next one. Later.
And if that story showed how shame can take more than pride, the next one shows how pain can wear metal. At 13, an inmate reveals the unpleasant experience of getting into a traditional prison fight. One bad day, one bad move, and suddenly a fight turns real, fast.
I didn't even start it, I want to say. Real talk. But you know, a riot, race war, you involved. I got hit in the head, a lock in the sock, man. Yeah, just from just being involved. Just because I'm black. He whacked the shit out of me too, man. Good one.
A white guy?
Put me down, man. That's the first time I ever seen stars. I seen stars, man. He rocked my ass with that lock in the sock. And the nurse told me too, if he'd hit you again in the same spot, you'd have went brain dead. Would have hit me right here.
And was that instigated or you were just standing
there? Yeah, I'm
there?
sitting there. I didn't know it was kicked off already. You know, you move, in the pen, people move smooth. Everything ain't excited, right? Where it's like you're gonna see it coming. So I'm sitting there watching TV, man. I didn't even notice that a race war was popping off already on the next unit. And it's a lot going on because it's child time, lunch. So as people moving back and forth, I'm just watching the videos, paying attention to my surroundings, but I ain't noticed that the white boys already had grouped up and was discussing it and was saying, man, we about to take off while the door open. So any black that was on the tier, they were just gonna take off on it. It was about me and 4 of the blacks only. And it just went down, man. I was just sitting there watching the news, man. Videos or something was on TV. Next thing you know, I seen it out my peripheral. I seen somebody sliding up, and he slid up on the wall real good and just whacked the shit out of me with that lock in the sock. Put me down. I ain't let it put me down to the floor. It crumbled me, man. I had to get my composure, get my shit together, like, whoa.
And if that story shows how quick respect turns into violence, the next one shows how fame can twist it into privilege. At 12, some memories don't fade when you leave prison. They follow you when you dream.
Is there anything that stands out from your incarceration that you still think about to this day?
Let's talk about it. Well, there's always been, there's a number of situations. There was one I talked about already, but something that I carry with me all the time that I never forget about is when my neighbor, I had a neighbor at one point in time that was killed. And I literally had to smell his body, and the smell of just like iron, like blood and shit. It was like blood and shit. Like that's what the smell of that was, and it just was so nasty. Like no matter how much you blocked up that vent, you could still smell. I don't know how the cops didn't smell it. Like that smell sometimes, or like that smell of blood, like heavy blood. But imagine it mixed with shit. Okay, that shit was horrific for me. Like, and it was an experience. Just knowing that there's a dead body sitting next door. Every day was a serious day for me. Every day was a mental day for me until, they pulled that body out of there. But I just had to keep my mouth shut. You don't say nothing. We were on a lockdown anyway. So it was what it was. But every day that body sat in that room, I couldn't laugh, I couldn't smile. I couldn't even watch TV without just thinking about some fucked up ass shit. So yeah, that right there definitely took its toll on me, especially since I knew the guy. I used to play poker with the guy. Don't go to prison. Don't go to prison. Don't do drugs, stay off the streets.
And if that story shows how death in prison is raw and real, the next one shows how desire can still survive the walls. At 11, some inmates got it worse, but Bobby Smurder, he got it different, boy.
Do you think the guards gave you special privileges and attention because of you?
They put me in every house I was in. I could have fucked wild guards. I didn't fuck no COs in. I could have fucked wild COs. Every house they put me in had cameras. Like they put me in like the motherfucking most secure houses. I can't do shit but smoke weed and probably fight or something. That's about it. I can't do shit. Our girls be these are our age. These bitches be coming to my cell. Motherfuckers the COs be looking at me. Jergo looking for the CO. She be like, damn, I can't fucking see the cameras and shit. I'm like, yo, come in the cell. She like, I can't. I try to pull them in. They grab me real quick, run out, shit like that. But little shit like that.
You actually jerked off in front of the COs?
I do all that shit from the COs. They be out there looking, watching. One of them motherfuckers like a 46, 47-year-old white lady. Or she's just watching me. She's like, you a bad boy. You a bad boy.
At 10, not everything that happens behind those walls is about staying clean.
Women are having
in the shower. In the last prison that I was at, which is McPherson Prison in Southern Arkansas, it is actually a crime if you have or if you're caught having with another inmate. So if 2 inmates are in a relationship and they're having not like free will, you are property of the state. So Arkansas will actually write you up for misconduct, and if you get 3 misconducts, they will hit you with a free world charge, and you will have to register as a offender for having sex with your girlfriend in prison. There's a whole system to that. Like usually if 2 women want to have sex with each other, you need a spotter because you're not supposed to be having sex in prison. And it's really like, it's one of those things where it either happens really, really early in the morning so that a lot of people aren't in the shower, or it happens like at the end. And the last prison that I was at, they actually locked the showers, so you couldn't just go in the shower whenever you wanted to. So they would open the showers at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Like there's this whole like gate by the showers, and an officer would have to come in and unlock it and move the gate so that you can get in the shower. So I've definitely seen women having, and officers will walk by and kind of look under to make sure there's not 2 feet in one stall. So there are 2 kinds of people that shower really early in the mornings, and that is lifers or girlfriends, or like really old like senior citizens. They'll shower in the mornings. Number 1 thing that happens in a woman's shower is girlfriend time. So you're welcome.
And if that story shows how labels destroy lives, the next one shows how the same cycle keeps repeating, even at the end. At 8, what happens when some young ones want to fight you at the very end of your 17-year sentence?
I got phone checked while completing a 17-year prison sentence. At the end of the bid, the very end. And in my opinion, as I tell a lot of people when they ask me certain questions about prison, you get tested the most at the end of your prison sentence versus the beginning. I'm not going to say you're not going to get tested all throughout that thing, but it seems that the impact of the test towards the end of your prison sentence are more impactful. And I remember this situation because, let's be clear, I've never gotten up here on any of my platforms, have done any interviews and claimed to be some super go hard person that was just running this. No. I was respected, and I gave respect out. And typically, once I started using the phones, because there were typically only, 3 to 6 phones on the walls, depending on the prison that you were at, I was given a phone by the guys in the block, because in the system where I was at in the Commonwealth of Virginia, somebody ran the phone line in each block. They ran a phone. A lot of guys didn't like that. I didn't like it, but that was the system, and I didn't choose to buck on it. I chose to, get involved in it. And what happened was people understood that I was really good at facilitating the phone line, and I would make sure that everybody and anybody in the block could get on and make a call to their loved ones, while some of the other phone lines did not do that because they were controlled by separate cars, sets, etc., cities even. And if you weren't from there, you would not be able to use that phone. But I didn't care. I didn't have to make a call to the end of the night some days. I would make sure everybody got on. Again, not because I was some, super go hard silverback type. No, I was just respected. But anyways, fast forward. And keep in mind, I've done time on level 4s, 3s, 2s, and it wasn't until I was on a level 1, the minimal level, that I got tested in this way. And I remember it clear as day, because that's why I'm telling this story right now. But I got up from my bunk. They had cleared count probably about 10, 15 minutes prior, and I just wanted to get on the phone. At this time in my prison sentence, by the way, I was already married. And me and my wife had agreed to do like 1 phone call a day, which I wasn't really sticking to. I tried to the best of my ability, but my anxiety and some other things just, wanted me to call home sooner rather than later and more times than just once a day. So anyways, I would get in where I fit in. I didn't try to get into a phone line. I would often just ask the guys in the block, hey, does somebody have after you? Do you mind if I make a call? Super respectful. No problem at all. I'm just trying to wrap up the end of this 17-year prison sentence. But let me tell you something. On this level 1 minimal road camp, it was guys coming straight from jail. And I had did 17 years in prison. I don't even know why I was there, by the way, because the whole time I was incarcerated, they said I could never be on a level 1. My suspicions are I had started to write up so much stuff that they might have thought that they would, do me some sort of favor in order to keep me from writing things up in the system. I don't know. But anyways, I'm on this level 1, and side note, while I was there, I'm on a road camp and I couldn't even leave the building except to go to rec. They had me working in the hallways and stuff like that, waxing the floors, blah, blah, blah. But these guys are coming straight from jail. They know nothing about doing prison time. And if you've done the amount of prison time that I did in the system, 9 times out of 10, you're respected. Or maybe you're not. But for me to be me, And to just be able to stand on my own too, and to be a guy that was from a totally different state, and I grew up in the system, and I got along with a lot of people, got into it with a few too, but at the end of the day, I always had my respect, and never any issues for real on any other camps, unless somebody was just out their mind that day, or I was pulled into something that involved one of my people. But here we go. These guys are coming straight from the jail. They don't know any of us in the system, and probably could care less. They're young, 19, 20, 21, 22. Turned up, ready to roll, clicked up, all that, right? So I'm off the bunk and I see a phone hanging from the wall. When you're in prison, if you see a phone hanging down on the wall, that typically means somebody's next, at least where we was at, or, they're holding the line for somebody, etc. But I sat back patiently and, just watched the phone lines, and this phone was hanging down for about 5 minutes. And I said to myself, well, if nobody's getting on there, I'm about to get on here. I said, hey, anybody getting on this phone? I grabbed the phone, held it up. Nobody responded. Cool, I'm getting on the phone. I don't have to do this, but I don't want no problems, and I'm already hip. These youngers is running the phones. Got you, boom. And I'm the new guy in the pod too, by the way. Fairly new. And I get on the phone, I'm calling my girl, my wife, and then all of a sudden I get a tap on my shoulder. Boom, boom, boom. I turn around because I'm thinking it's the CO or something. Usually it's the CO coming to get you, to call you to the counselor's office, etc., whatever. I turn around. It's a young dude. He looking at me crazy. He say, hey, you got to get off the phone. I say, why? He said, because you not with us. And when he said with us, he was basically saying I'm not in their car, their clique, or whatever. Cool. I said, in my most respectful way, no problem. I'm going to wrap this call up and I got you. Turn back around to get on the phone because I'm really not worried about anything really jumping off like that on a level 1, right? Not on level 1, especially when I've been on level 4s. Boom, he taps me again, a little bit more assertive or aggressive, whatever. He said, nah, you got to get off right now. We got to use that. So my wife, I said, hey, baby, I got to get off the phone, but I'm going to talk to you in a little bit. And I meant that. I was going to talk to her in a little bit, one way or the other. Whether it was from the hole, whether it's from right here or whatever. But I said, all right, love you. Boom. She's on the, what's wrong? What's going on? Because she could hear a little bit of what was going on in the background. But hey, I'm locked in now. Talk to you later. Love you. I'm coming home. It's not that serious. I get off the phone. That's not good enough for Youngin. Now he got a crowd with him. Some of the guys, some of his crew. He's talking trash. Yo, you know the phone lines, how they ran. He going crazy on me now. I'm just sitting there. Anybody that knows me personally, I'm very healed. I'm almost healed, like all the way. I do a lot of work, therapy, etc. But there's something inside of me. I can't take when people yell at me and be disrespectful at me or my loved ones, etc. It's just weird to me, right? Especially when I'm trying to show respect. So basically, I got fed up. And you got to understand, PTSD is real, and I'm coming off of level 4s. I'm on a level 1 trying to be really cool, but now this youngin got a real issue with the fact that I got on their quote-unquote phone. So I basically just said this, man. Are you trying to fight? Like, I need to know that. Because now my adrenaline's up. I'm looking at his people. My back's against the wall. I ain't got no allies on the block, but all my people still on level 2s and up. I don't know nobody. Nobody's going to jump in to save me. You know what I'm saying? And maybe a little bit is hoping that the CO walks in, because there's no CO all the time on the floor there. I was probably hoping that was going to happen a little bit. But Youngin says, yo, we can go in the bathroom right now. I was a little relieved, but still hesitant, because I didn't know if I was going to get jumped. But at this point, we here. There was no real way for me to diffuse the situation. Already, I tried being respectful. I could have yelled out for the CO. That was just something I was not willing to do. I went in the bathroom. Luckily, when I went in the bathroom, I got to shout out these old heads from DC, because they told the youngins, they said, y'all not jumping him. I didn't even know these dudes, man. So shout out to them, man. DC, Northern VA, whatever. They like, yo, you not jumping. You not jumping them. Let them fight fair in there. Once they said that, once I knew I had some type of backup and support, some type of resistance, just in case they came in there and turned my body into a trampoline and started stomping up and down. Oh, once I knew that, it was on. Because, yo, no harm and disrespect to that young dude, but I've been through some things. I got my grown man strength. I got locked up at 19. I'm 36 now. I'm ready to roll. I got some things to get off my chest. And boy, did I. I made him touch every piece of concrete and steel within that bathroom. But here's something that's really cool. At the end of that situation, believe it or not, we still have respect for one another. Well, we didn't have respect for one another because I was trying to respect the situation, but he didn't until we had to get into that moment. And I didn't want that. I don't push for that. I never did, never will. I never started one, not by my own hand. But that is an example of when there was no choice given, and it was at the end of the prison sentence. And believe it or not, I talk to youngin' to this day, man, and we laugh about that situation. Nobody got hurt too bad. He was pretty strong, man. He gave me a run for my money. He's young, right? I was older, right? But yo, we laugh about it. We survived it. We realized it was just ego. And matter of fact, by the end of that day, we was talking, laughing. And his homies, they was laughing because it was a level 1. Now, if that same situation went down on a level 4, level 3, maybe even a level 2 where I was at, we wouldn't have been laughing. And there's no guarantee I would have been able to make this post, man. More of the story, stay free. Peace.
And if that story shows how ego never dies inside those walls, the next one shows how paranoia keeps you alive. At 7, inside those walls, love looks different, and survival wears a disguise called loyalty.
Now, I've heard about prison moms, but prison aunt is new to me. What's that?
So prison family, like, do you guys even have prison family? I don't know. I feel
No,
like the
you
men's
kind of have like
prisons-
OGs, like a guy you look up to, like a mentor.
Yeah, I see. Men are really hard at like emotions, so I get that.
And it's also got to be pretty boring to be a man in prison compared to a girl. Like, you're casually saying, oh, we're fucking all the time, we're doing this, we're doing that.
I mean, yeah.
Men don't do that.
They do.
Well,
and
they
you
do, but
know
they're
they
not
do.
open like that.
They
know?
can't be. But that's because you guys put these restrictions on each other. You should really be tits out. But it's the fact that
All right, so prison family.
she had so how it works in the female facilities is you kind of just base it off of your connection with somebody. So you talk to somebody, you get to know them. If you like them, you can be like, well, I kind of look at you as like my mom. Will you be my prison mom? I'd be like, yeah, sure. And some people have multiple, and it's so funny because you will hear people say like, I can't be your prison mom because my prison daughter won't let me have any other prison kids. And it's like, this is a fucking weird ass conversation that we're having right now. Nobody's actually related. Why can't you have more than one prison kid? I personally had a bunch, couldn't name them all, but I know some of them have passed, so RIP to them.
And if that story shows how trust is poisoned behind bars, the next one shows what happens when predators prey on predators. At 6, what happens when a booty bandit wants to another booty bandit.
They put me in the cell with this black nigga. They call him big, what was that ugly nigga's name? Big Doc. He was about 6'5", real dark, had a big old nose, his nose about the size of my fist. Nigga had red ass too, just like a big black monster, right? See, I didn't know when they put me in the cell that it was a hole in the wall. And this nigga took some cement back then they could get their hands on and put it over some paper. When it hardened, he blowed up a little balloon thing, put some baby powder in there and tied it. Braced it in the wall real good, and put that over and painted it so it looked like the regular wall. I guess he put a little marker where you know where to hit. So when he run his hand through there and that bed bust, boom, it looked like he would knock some bricks and shit out of the wall, right? And all that white shit would look like fragments of cemented dust floating in the air, but it ain't no baby powder. See, I wasn't prepared for this shit, right? So, I done traded my knife. I had another knife at that time, a little bitty pear knife about that big. So I'm sitting on the bottom bunk, and he said, hey. I said, yeah. He said, shit. So scratching down on his thing popped out, right? So I said, okay, I know what time this shit is, right? I tried to ignore this shit, right? He said, if it's your cell as much as it's mine, no shit. So scratching again, his thing popped out again, right? He said, all I ask you to do is have clean up, don't let nobody in my cell, And then his thing is hard, and it's out of his drawers. I said, man, you got to say something, man. This nigga, the door is locked and all this shit. This nigga big. And I was little then, right? I just started developing my boxing skills and shit. So, I ain't there yet. So, I'm like, say something, man. So, I got like a little tiny voice, like Tyson almost, right? I said, hey, man, why don't you show me some respect? You said, show you what? I said, shit. I said, respect. You don't think I'm gonna show you this big black car? They took his hand and ran it through that hole, bam! It was shaking his arm like it was stuck in him. I'm up over this shit. This nigga done ran his hand through a goddamn wall. Oh, goddamn. And then he ran up, when he pulled his arm out, all that white shit all over his knuckles and shit. And I'm looking up at him like that. He said, stand up, stand up. I'm like, oh, goddamn. I said, look, man, don't do this, man. He said, look, stand up. So I said, come on, man. He's a nigger. I said, man, that nigga hit me, he gonna run his head to my goddamn chest. Fucking shit, I stood up, right? So he got right there, put his big lips on my ear. That motherfucker said, all that shit. I couldn't even think straight. I said, I don't think I can think of it. Nigga arm went through that wall, right? I don't know how to even evaluate this shit, right? He wouldn't even give me time to think. The nigga kissed me, man. When I felt that big nasty ass tongue in my mouth, big like a big cow tongue, like a boot, like the lip of a shoe lip or something. It was so nasty, man. I said, no shit. That thing hit. I said, nigga about to kill me. Fucking nigga kissed me like that. So I hit him about 6 times real quick. And he ran to the gate, started hollering, then all the inmates hollered, man down, God, man down, man down. So I ran back on his ankles and ran back and nigga hit the floor. I ran back, I was just slicing, man. I was nervous. I said, man, this nigga get up, it's over. You saw that nigga run his hand through that ball, right? And all the guards ran up and he said, man, come on, man. I said, shut up, nigga. I went down his way. I was just anyway, you didn't get.
And if that story shows how evil eats its own, the next one shows how fake kindness hides sharp teeth at 5. In prison, kindness is never just kindness. Sometimes it can be a test, you feel me?
You Spanish, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm Dominican. He goes, all right. Passed me like 3 shampoos, bunch of soap, bunch of stuff. So I'm like, he's giving me something. This guy wants to like rape me or something. That's what I'm thinking in my head, like, what the fuck do I do? So I'm like, just hold the stuff. I said, when he comes back around, I'm gonna just pass it back to him. So he's coming back around, I'm like, hey Z, I don't need this. I put it back. So I don't need that. He's like, nah, it's for you, bro. I'm like, nah, I don't need that. And he's like, what's going on? I was like, I don't know you, fam. I don't fuck with you. The fuck out my fucking face. I ain't no punk, cause you think I'm young. And I start like saying everything that's on my mind like an idiot, which is the wrong thing to do in prison. You're supposed to say as least as you can. You think cause I'm a young boy, you gonna do something to me? You have to kill me, motherfucker. I'm talking mad shit. So he's like, what? Yo, this guy's crazy. He takes his stuff. He's like, I'm gonna see you outside. So I'm like, oh shit. This guy wants to see me outside. It's like my first week there. I'm like, what am I gonna fucking do? This guy's about 250 pounds of muscle. I'm like 140 and I'm only 20. He's like 35. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I'm going out there. So I knock on the door like a dumbass. Fam, to the guy next, do I could borrow a knife? Like, it doesn't work like that upstairs.
And if that story shows how manipulation builds slowly, the next one shows what happens when women start forcing each other behind locked doors at 4. Do women force each other to do outlandish things behind locked doors?
Does SA happen in women's prison between 2 women inmates? So the answer is yes, but it's rare. You don't see many cases where women like force themselves on each other, but I do know, like, I've heard a story where there was brooms involved when fights broke out, or like women will get very territorial, thinking like you're my woman, or they'll be pushy in a sense of like trying to get the girl to be their girlfriend, but not SA where they like force you to do something. It has happened, but not that many cases. I have seen women like hold a shower for someone or go and eat together, and the girl is just thinking, oh, she's a nice girl, she's my friend, and really naive to situations, and found themselves where the other girl's like, no, you're my girlfriend, you're gonna not play games with me. And then another thing that women do in prison is they will fight you if they know that you're getting out of prison to try to take your out date. It is so grimy, but that's what they do, especially when it comes to 2 girls, like 2 girlfriends.
And if that story shows how control gets dressed up as care, the next one shows how authority sets the tone the moment you walk in. At 3, sometimes what you hear from officers on your first day is more important than the words of the Bible.
I got there my first day for orientation. He said, my name is Sergeant, I don't give a damn. Don't confuse me for my brother, Sergeant, I don't give a shit. Or my other brother, Sergeant, I don't give a fuck. Ask me something, I don't give a damn. Tell me something, I don't give a shit. You want to go to another jail? I don't give a fuck. He said, this is what I'm going to tell you. And it's a whole group of us just came off the bus. Coming off the bus. He's like, look, if you told, you might as well check in. If you're in a gang and they labeled you food, you might as well check in. If you have any sex charges, you might as well check in. And don't be tough, because once you get behind them gates, we can't help you. And I'm paying attention to what he say, but I'm like, fuck what he talking about. until that first code went off. Then I understood what the fuck he meant. Cause the gates, it's gates, and you're locked in there. And this is, there's still intake, but it's 30 beds on this side, 30 beds on that side. And it goes all the way down. So you could literally be getting your ass whooped at the back. And all they're gonna be screaming is, stop, stop, stop. We're gonna mace. The mace can't make it all down there. The whole time they're getting, you know, the turtles, they're getting suited up and you know, in riot gear to come in there. But at the same time, I guess due to the codes or policies, they can't come in there. It's like 60 of us, you know? After that, it was like, wow. And that code was going off like, they call it the gangster music. That code go off. You'll hear it, it's like a siren of code 33, code 33. You feel me? That shit ring. Like, that shit ring at least. When I first got down there, at least probably like 10 times a day. And when the summer hits, at least 25 times a day. You know, people getting aggravated. The heat making people all antsy and stuff. It's ringing.
And if that story shows how fear gets preached like religion, the next one shows what happens when the devil moves in. At 2, what happens if your jail cell is haunted?
One of the jails I was in was haunted. They lock you in your cell every night when it's time to go to sleep. Sometimes everybody will fall asleep and it'll get quieter in there. The sounds you usually hear are the guards walking, keys jingling, or the doors opening and closing, but they're all distinctive sounds that we always hear. Out of nowhere, we heard some noises. The sounds we heard were not the usual sounds. It sounded like someone was dragging a really heavy chain across the floor. Then it sounded like it was hitting the walls. It was so loud, it woke everybody up. Everybody was angry and yelling. We thought it was the COs. When me and my bunkie looked out of our cell, there was nothing there. But a couple of girls said they saw a shadow figure. The sound went from one side of the pod to the other, and then it just stopped. So we all started freaking out. We couldn't sleep. We didn't know what to do. Some of the girls started telling stories that they heard about the jail being haunted and people unaliving. To this day, I don't know what that was, and I don't even want to know what that was. Do your best to stay out of jail because anything can happen in there. See you guys.
And if that story shows how ghosts linger inside cold concrete, the next one shows what happens when you play with real flesh instead. At 1, what happens when you mess with a female coe?
We had a 13-year-old kid on the unit who was from Troy, and he was a mouthy kid, man. I mean, he violated everyone. And he took him under his wing and said, look, this is not how you act around here. We want to run a tight ship. We're gonna get your stuff together. And he violated a female CO. And there are rules, even in juveniles, you don't mess with a female CO. And I remember clear as day, I was working in the central unit watching cameras. This kid sitting there talking to a staff member, and this 18-year-old comes up from behind and just rocks him in the face, completely knocks him out, right off the chair, unconscious, and starts beating the shit out of him. And I watched the COs, you know, move towards the situation, but they moved to it at a pace that you kind of knew what they were doing, right? All right, this kid's taking care of business. We're going to delay this a little bit. And they ended up shipping that kid, the 18-year-old, who everyone loved. He ran the place. And when they were transferring him, so they put him on an isolation unit, the day the transport came, all the staff came down to say goodbye to this kid. And the director stood at the gate and said, if you all don't go back, I'm going to fire every one of you. What the fuck are you doing? He just assaulted a kid. So we all had hopes for this kid. We heard he gets out. He goes back down to the city. He's on the corner. Some kid disrespects him. He goes home, gets a gun, shoots and kills him. He's doing life in prison now. It's like, man.
Hit that like button, turn on notifications, and get ready, because the next episode will be even crazier. Spoiler, it's the stories they'll never let you hear.
Murder man, murder, I'm a murder man, murder, I'm a murder man, I'm a demon. When I flow, I'm scheming, throw like the snow in the South Pole gleaming. I'm AM, so they PM. I'm like they dog can't see them. I'm farther than Mars away. Number 1 like Anthony Hardaway. Hit pay dirt, I'm a star today. Franchise player going hard today. Spit influential, call for day. You chunk the deuce, I boss the race. It's hard to say. Easy a beast in the play or easy playing guard today. Hard to park, can't beat my chest. Let these dudes 0.36, I'm up 4 points. Y'all play ball, cause all the cat gotta do is sweat. Get that trophy I must collect while I text you broad and we connect. Topping up under her clothes while she contemplating give me her whole next check. You absent, she absent-minded. Flow like water, please find the fountain. Looking up at me, down on the mountain like I'm more. Fuck it up. Murder man, murder, murder man, murder. One style, one friend, one face in one place, one lane and one flame, one nigga with one case. This hard living mean more killing mean low figures. This thug life I earn straight, ain't now nigga gon' take this. I wreck shit, straight check shit, that whole shit I served it. Can't live the way I live. It's too trill for you punk bitch. Now who's the kitchen? Who's the plot? Cause I'm the one that share the road. They say just so bad, but I'm not bad. I'm just a normal guy. We the fly, I grant your wish. My shit don't stop it ever. But when it come to rhyming, I'm the shaman in the prison, bitch. That word flip, you heard of me. Somebody tell him who I be. Bama boy, blowing on your ass like the final three. Come cool me up, I'm burning up. You can't, I'm bound to bust. Been rapping for so long, and so long it's like the thank you trust. You sorry, bro, but that's okay. Just remember, on this day I come to state my claim. It's my claim, and I'm like Marvin Gaye, a legend in my time, and this my time, ain't got no room to play. Doing it for 10 and ain't the end. It's just a brand new day. You want this beat? Let's get it up. Know my set, then hit it up. Crippin' ain't been easy, it been pleasing, so don't fuck with us. I'm dangerous. You rap for fun, I ain't a bust, I rap for fun. This the reason I be winning. Bama boy, I struck again. Murder, murder, I'm a murder, murder, and murder. It's murder man. Murder, 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 I'm a murder, murder, murder. Murder man, murder man. Locked in a cage, seems like 40 years. Mind full of rage, nothing said about 40 years. Asked God 40 wise, and he gave me 40 lives. Before I let my soul fry, I'ma take about 40 lives. Roll with 40 crips, stack with 40 G's. Bang with 40 blood, squeeze and made me an OG. I know about 40 goons, and I know about 40 goblins. What did it like a broom, and we done about 40 robbers. Smoked about 40 pounds, of that color purple. Gave him about 40 rounds, I let him buy the color purple. Give me about 40 minutes, you can get 36 O's. With 40 cal extended, you can get 36 hoes. Whole clip, and I'm about to empty. I tried to warn you niggas, you bitches had to tempt me. Watch the breaking news, on channel 40. Memphis brutally murdered around 1140. Robbed about 40 banks, I got about 40 million. You better not bother me if you do, I'm killing 40 civilians. Cause about 40 murders and 40 dead bodies, and you can get it too, nigga, that go for everybody. Boom! Woke up around 7:45, caught back to 45, I hit the slab with about 40 pounds. 3 triple beams and 40 white bricks, and 40 white girls, watch them turn 40 tricks. Grind about 40 days, hustle about 40 nights, fly like 40 kites, nigga push it like 40 dikes. I got that fish scale, wrapped in saran. I got a hella price and you can get it for 20 grand. 20 grand, man, I said 20 grand. This shit is fresh off the water, straight from Colombia. You can step on it once, you can step on it twice, you can step on it 10, scratching like the Green Mile. I'm pushing 40 keys in a church van. I got enough bricks to build a fucking church, man. Amen, Allah be my witness. I swear to God I had to murder 40 different snitches. So don't get it twisted, with 40 deals included. Wishing and hoping and praying to God that I get to use it. I got no pick and choose it, your wife and kids included. Hit them with that Glock 40, drain all of their body fluids. I'm with 40 gangsters, I'm with 40 gorillas. Your clique of 40 imposters, they 40 fuck niggas. And all you fuck niggas acting like y'all tough nigga. Get your ass bust nigga, play pussy get fucked nigga.
It feel like I fell out the plenty. Lord of dementia, I'm in 3D. Seen of these nigga can't see me. Streets to the pen to the TV. I work hard, ain't Houston on freebie. I start scrapping the CD. Want you a verse, it gon' cost you some BB. Trap all night, no sleeping. Fuck all these haters and blogs and fake ass pages, they must wanna be me. Baby, before we fuck, don't you fall in love, can we have it understand me? Her favorite Chanel coat see-through, but she wearing no pennies. No BBL, what are you hell are you eating? She held this down in the pee-wee. Now we up in the big leagues. She know that I'm fire as fuck. I can make one of these labels come sign. Ooh.